Harrison, Barkley, Gibbs. What do you think, Pat?
I'm cool with Drake London. I don't know where you guys at on that.
Yeah, I got him top wide receiver on the board here. We'll go AJB in London. Another guy who needs some more touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean,
but I mean, Atlanta's projected to be in the top half of the league this year in points per game, so it's at least got something going for him there.
Yeah, he was going in like the late third, right? When we opened up the big board, and maybe even early fourth.
I want to say I saw him in the mid fourth. Yeah, I saw like 45, 48 maybe in big board.
Because when Cousins signed there, and I was like, I get this. Like, you know, we don't know what's going to happen with the quarterback situation. This is basically saying the market thinks he's kind of like an early third if Cousins goes there, and, you know, kind of probably somewhere in the fifth, maybe sixth if he doesn't, because who knows how bad it could be if he doesn't. So I kind of understand it. I was like kind of shocked when he went all the way up to, you know, kind of mid second, and obviously has become a feature of the 1-2 turn. It took me a while to get my head around it because I was like, I didn't know you guys felt this way.
Yeah.
like Cousins was like a pretty, you know, high chance of going there all along. So, but I have come around to, you know, where he is the number one there. They're going to be not just throw more, and they will throw a lot more, but they're going to be so much more effective doing it.
Yeah, Zach Robinson's a big deal.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, even if Kirky is, like I said with Rodgers, you know, 80% of himself, the touchdowns are just massive. You know, Pitts and London have both had like career 2.5%, you know, target to touchdown rates, just really, really low. So, you know, Cousins even at like a 4% clip is just massive. Yeah. Pat, the other thing, Mark and I have been talking about this all off season, but the other thing that helps me stomach London, even though it's really a big projection, is this whole second round wide receiver tier is basically one big tier, starting with that entire group all the way down through like Neighbors and Cup. You know, Neighbors is getting steamed through that tier. Cup's getting steamed a little bit too. He went 25 here in this spot. But that's the other thing I like. You know, I'm a little more okay with it this year just because everybody kind of doesn't seem like they knew who to draft in the second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's all kind of one big tier. I do like London the most of them. And then I've been kind of eyeing to see if Waddle could potentially steam up a little bit more, because he's like the one dude where if you just told me you had to take Waddle at the 1-2 turn, I would just be like, all right, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, he was going 14-ish, 13-ish last year. I saw him go at the turn a few times, for sure. Yeah, Waddle, he got moved a little from 24, 25-ish into the 20s. Speaking of the tier dying here, it just died with Diggs and Metcalf. Pat, what you thinking?
Oh, man. I mean, honestly, what I normally do here is I take another receiver and then I grab Hurts, because then I feel like I have the flexibility to do that. So I tend to grab Tank Dell or Zay Flowers to be.
All right, we'll take Dell. And I like the Hurts move. We'll do that.
I don't love coming away with you know, 2 receivers through 4, although it's better than it used to be. Like and by used to be I mean like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
just so you feel a little bit more comfortable with the receivers now, I think, in kind of the 5-6 turn. So
it that whole tier was pretty brutal. It's gotten pushed back a little. But yeah, I think we're gonna get him through here. I'll wait, queue up this question, but let's see how we go through here. Pat, where are you at on Zay? I'm pretty low on him. I think touchdowns are a big question, but he's kind of plateaued here at this spot.
I like Zay. I mean, he was a first-round pick. I didn't think he wasn't my favorite prospect, but he's one of these prospects I feel like one of the things I've like tried to get better at is being like, all right, this guy doesn't like check every box like analytically. He's a 4-year guy. You know, he didn't really like crush until like later in his career, although he was productive. But I was like, this dude can win kind of multiple depths and those depths are like downfield and deep downfield, and he was like a good route runner, and kind of seemed like he had a pretty pro ready game. Like, yeah, I think this guy can play and will be kind of ready to hit the ground running. So I got mostly on board last year, and then he it was up and down, but he had some pretty nice weeks, and I think for a rookie wide receiver was pretty good. So I still believe Andrews is the number one there. But, kind of number one with Andrews, and then maybe passing Andrews this year at some point as the number one Lamar Jackson offense. The defense probably taking a big step back. One thing with the Ravens generally is that I don't think people viewed first year under Monken to be all that bullish, but I do. I think they show that like they're kind of willing to be more aggressive, but they didn't have to be in a lot of cases. They had an elite defense. They're not going to have an elite defense this year, most likely. So this could be like all the stuff we talked about last year with like pass rate, the offensive changeover, moving from Greg Roman to a modern offense. Like a lot of that stuff could actually hit this year. We only got kind of a little taste of it last year.
Your entire argument just makes me want to draft Lamar even more. I think
that's drafting a lot of Lamar.
I think that's where I come down on this is like if what you just laid out, the defense regresses with no McDonald, and just generally this top defenses like that just generally regress year over year, not because of defensive coordinators. They just do. It's just hard to sustain that level for that
and
long.
They lost pieces as well. But you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, our prior should be that they regress.
Yeah. It's a similar discussion for me to the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, they vastly outperformed on the defensive side of the ball last year. Now they lose Aaron Donald. They lose their defensive coordinator. It's a situation where, like, I mean, you look at their, like, for the Rams now, you look at their, like the Vegas implied team totals and the lines from this upcoming season. They're expected to be in 8 games with a game total over 48 points. I say expected, that's projected, probably a better way to term that. But it's a similar, I think, discussion to be had for the Ravens here. A lot of moving pieces, lost a lot of pieces on the defensive side of the ball, new defensive coordinator. And that's kind of the theme of like around the league this year is like defensive coordinators, massive turnover this year.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams, you can make the argument that they might have the worst cornerbacks and secondary in the league at this point. Switching back to Zay real quick, we have some data coming out, Pat, some separation data that is really, really strong in favor of Zay. We've been looking at exactly what you're saying, how he wins basically at the intermediate deep levels. I've been surprised at how good the data looks on him. So yeah, I've warmed a little bit to Flowers, but his projection, it's just hard to get there. But I'm with you on Lamar. I just think Lamar's ceiling arguably he has maybe the highest single week ceiling of any quarterback in fantasy history. And, even if they bump the pass rate by like 1.5%, it's just huge for him. All right. I wanted to ask you about Rashee Rice and how you're handling these Chiefs. Rashee's getting steamed. Hollywood's going to be a 5th round pick, I think, for the rest of the draft season, unless somebody gets hurt. Worthy's getting bounced around like a pinball. That went crazy.
You're like,
that's one rep. Come on. I mean, I'm not a big Worthy guy too, but hey.
It's almost 2 reps though, because the one guy shoved it. And then another dude, like that second shove, I was like, oof.
Yeah, bro. That's about as bad of a low light as I've seen.
We've seen the goods and the absolutely bads. Like we haven't seen any in between with Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, it's bad out here. Josh Jacobs falling here. I mean, I'm way out on him, but what do you think, Pat?
I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with Keenan Allen.
All right.
If you want to try to grab one of the running backs coming back around, if you prefer that.
Yeah, I'm good with Keenan too.
Okay, cool.
All right, we'll do Keenan. I've got like no Jacobs. Pulled a groin today. His ADP is going to be pulled back even more.
I missed that.
Yeah,
pulled a groin.
He missed practice. I asked the beat writer. I asked him on Twitter, like, who was getting run with the ones in his absence, because that's a big storyline. Like people just are assuming it's going to be the rookie there, but like that's a big storyline. Give us something here. He didn't respond to me. So
well, Marshawn Lloyd had a hip injury and he's been nursing that, so I don't think it's probably not him. It's best shape of his life. AJ Dillon, baby.
Oh yeah.
AJ Dillon, 13 carries week 1. Let's go.
For 10 yards.
Yeah. -1 yards per carry. Pat's just a good guy from Alpaul. Yeah, he is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Pat's a good dude. Pat's good people. I've known Pat for quite some time.
It's true. It was the draft in Philly.
Bro. That was what, 2017?
That was Trubisky. Yeah, that was when they traded up for Trubisky in that year.
Yeah, I think you messaged me and you're like, "Hey, Pete and I have like an extra ticket. I saw you're in Philly. You want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" Geez, man, that was 2017. That was when Pete was doing the whole man's thing.
That's right. Yeah. I was going around filming Pete as he because they had all the like you punt, you do the high jump and stuff. This is on Twitter somewhere still.
Yeah,
but the man's was just doing all sorts of stuff.
Jacobs goes to 62. Mixon or White.
We have Dell, so I kind of the double Texans move. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, we'll take that as a tiebreaker. Nice call there, Keenan. So we'll AJB, London, Dell, Keenan start. I think Pete really pissed off a couple of people during those interviews. I had a few drinks that night. I don't really totally remember, but I remember a few people getting pretty pissed off. He was just trolling everybody that night. It was great.
Yeah, that was the deal. Yeah, the man's was a true legend. Yeah. He interviewed Steve Smith as the man's.
Did he?
Yeah. He asked him about Denny Carter. There was some, I forget what Denny had said something about it, and Steve Smith had responded, I think. Anyway, this is also probably on the internet still.
I think that was the year Steve Smith just like balled out for the Ravens, seemed dusty, and Denny was out on him or something like that. Wasn't that?
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Long time ago, man. We were talking Chiefs. And Xavier is not gone yet. Actually, I just went at 60. How are you handling Chiefs? Because Mark and I think everybody's high on Mahomes bouncing back. Mark and I have been talking about this a ton. How are you handling this situation, and how are you drafting Chiefs?
So when I'm not thinking about when I'm in slow drafts, I haven't been getting enough Mahomes, because Mahomes is someone it's been difficult to rank, because I think if you have Mahomes available in the mid-4th, pretty good pick. If you have him in the early 4th with Kelsey, if you reach for Kelsey, then you go Mahomes, pretty good pick. If Mahomes is available in the mid-5th, kind of a bad pick, right? You're not going to get him stacked most likely, because all the receivers go. Hollywood, Worthy, Rice might already be gone. Kelsey's already gone. So it's I'm dealing with unstacked Mahomes. All these other people have figured out how to stack Mahomes in their builds. I'm actually not that interested in him in the mid-5th, even though it's a round later than when I am interested in him. So I'm having trouble drafting Mahomes as I just kind of let the rooms fall to me. So I've been making a point, Sacrilegious over at Legendary Upside first kind of got me on this, where you do take Kelsey in the late 3rd and then Mahomes in the early 4th, and then you will be able to get probably at least one of Worthy or Hollywood. You used to be able to get Rice. That's less likely now. But that's the way I'm doing it with Mahomes. And then outside of Mahomes, I'm just taking a lot of the Chiefs outside of Hollywood. I really don't draft Hollywood.
Nice.
It feels very optimistic to me based on maybe not old, but he's an older player who's declined for 4 or 5 straight years in efficiency. We keep doing this. We're oh, this guy, he hasn't been good in a while, but now he's with Mahomes. All right, but I mean, if Rice doesn't get suspended until next year, Hollywood's already the 3rd target, and then what if Worthy emerges? I'm drafting Mahomes as 4th in the target pecking order guy in the 5th round, who I don't think is all that good.
Yeah,
it's just not that appealing to me.
Yeah, Hollywood in the 5th is a bit much. It is a bit much. I have him ranked in the 6th, and I'm with you. I've been drafting a ton of Rice. I've got a pretty big Rice bag just from when he was in the 80s. It's going to get even heavier, I think, pretty soon. All right, we're back on the clock. We'll pick that up here in a second.
Rice was my highest drafted receiver for a while.
Nice.
He's still top 6.
Pat, what are we thinking here, man? I got sorted by ADP.
I actually like Connor.
Okay.
I'm okay with kind of any of these running backs if you guys have preferences.
We'll take a little Connor here.
It's been pretty bullish with his role.
Yeah, I'm worried Trey Benson steals the passing down stuff. That's why I'm a little lower on him. But yeah, the rushing early down goal line role seems pretty solid. He's just bound to miss 3 or 4 games, and you just have to pray it's not during the fantasy playoffs. But
that's true.
Projected volume is definitely really strong with him.
Yeah, and he was good last year.
Really good.
Yeah.
No sign of falling off the age curve whatsoever. Same with Aaron Jones too.
That's true. Jones was really good, especially in the playoffs. So I've been kind of torn on him because I don't like. It's much easier for me to imagine the Cardinals offense taking this leap forward and then kind of having this 65% snap share back. Could be pretty exciting there. Where with Jones, the Vikings offense is obviously harder to get excited about. I take Jaylen Warren here pretty much every time, but
yeah, I'm so surprised.
Yeah, I'm stunned. Yeah. Absolutely stunned. Yeah, I'm on Warren too. I've got him over Najee.
Nice.
I tweeted this out a few weeks ago, but there's a real chance that Jalen gets way more involved near the goal line. If Artie does Artie Smith things and does a little split action like he's done for the last couple of years, Warren's touchdown upside is really strong. We know the passing down work will be there. I don't think people are projecting this run game to be good enough either. The Steelers have really invested in their offensive line. This line is really good now. They were trash 2 years ago. And the Najee blow up here when he was a first round pick 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's way different now. This is a much, much better line. Obviously, big question is quarterback play, but yeah, Pat, I know you're the number one Jaylen Warren fan.
I love Jaylen Warren. You're getting normally the best player in this backfield. The legendary upside, right? We bake ADP in, but you're still going to get a lot of Jaylen Warren. That's it. The Steelers are going to run the ball a lot. I agree. I think they're going to be pretty effective at running it. You have 2 outs to decent quarterback play. Maybe Fields ends up working really well in this system. This is the best coaching he's had, which seems no, that can't be true, but it is. I'm not a Getsy guy. So there's, and obviously, Russ could hold him off. Russ could keep the job, but Russ probably has to be playing pretty well to do that. So I'm feeling okay about this setup for the quarterbacks. Certainly it's a lot better than, a Mariota, Desmond Ridder type situation. So I'm willing to invest in the backfield. I do take some Najee, not enough, because every time I think about taking Najee, I mostly just then take Warren. But I think about it.
It crosses your mind. That counts for something.
Yeah.
It's not a swipe, it's not a draft, but it counts.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. We love to bag on Artie, for sure, but he does use a lot of pre-snap motion. He does use a high rate of play action, which we know is extremely effective for spiking passing efficiency. He just likes to steal a line from Joe Dolan. He just likes to smell his own farts. He likes to give Jonnu Smith reverses when he doesn't need to. There's just the random weird shit that he does. But you're right. Fields, in terms of an infrastructure, this is the best infrastructure he's had, and he's also gotten a ton of valuable first-team reps with no Wilson. Wilson was apparently pushing a tackling sled before camp. I have no. Dude, you're 36 years old, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, you hear about that?
What a leader.
That's the let's ride mentality.
Yeah.
It truly is let's ride.
Yeah.
You got to get your hand in the dirt.
Yeah. Maybe don't do that.
We'll rip through this question real quick. Eagles pass out of tush push formation. Kelsey's gone. I still think Jalen Hurts, by my last check, still squats 900 pounds. This
is one of the worst narratives of the offseason.
It is. It's absolutely awful.
The tush push, it's been awesome. I think they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. They're going to keep doing it until the NFL outlaws it.
Yeah. And the center, I don't know. I'm not an offensive line expert by any means. I don't know what, 3 levels below that maybe is what I am. But their center was handpicked by Kelsey as his replacement originally, and was their guard. I think he knows how to run the tush push.
He's a true center that played guard because they had Kelsey, and he was handpicked by Kelsey to replace Kelsey. So, if anybody is going to be familiar with it, it's going to be him.
I'm good with any of these dudes. Brian Robinson, I do take a lot of, but we don't have to do that.
Yeah, we got 3 here.
It's
I
sort
was
of an
thinking,
acquired taste.
yeah. Brian Robinson really is. I was talking about with Chris last night on our stream. Like, I want absolutely no commanders in like managed redraft leagues. No commanders backs, but like for best ball, both these guys have decent floors. But I'm with you. B-Rob probably has the highest upside. Eckler could be completely toast. Goal line carries are still a question, but yeah, we've been ahead of ADP on B-Rob all summer, and that's kind of finally catching up a little bit. But
yeah, but he doesn't. You don't need him in this room.
No.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we don't need him on this team.
What do you guys think about going Goedert and doing the Hurts double?
Love it.
We can be done at tight end too.
Yep.
All right, we'll do that.
This is something that I've been advocating
or
for.
Cooks.
I'd go Goedert here.
Goedert. All right.
There's something
Yeah,
I've been
that'd be my
advocating
preference.
for that I don't think the field is doing enough is double tapping at the end, tight ends like this. You have a lot of opportunities to do so in the first like 8, 9, 10-ish rounds. And I just think like the field is really, really overlooking it. It's better to be done when you have fewer running backs that are on the roster, the better. But like I've done it with like Kittle and Ingram or Njoku and Goddard, like we did here. I've done it as high as like Mark Andrews and any of the other like tight ends that are kind of around him at the 4 or 5-ish range. And I think you can do it.
So that's
just like
that's a true bully tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
you're
can,
talking about like Andrews Kincaid or something like that.
yeah, Andrews Kincaid or one of those other guys that are in that range. And I think you can do it if you do it smartly. Like the fewer running backs you take, the better. Like through 9 rounds, if you're doing anything like that, which I think it can be done smartly here. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, it does feel like that entire. I don't know. Pat, I want you to get your thoughts on this too, but it does feel like we've kind of pulled back a little far. Like a couple of these guys are absolutely going to destroy ADP. I'm with you on Andrews.
Oh, yeah.
Andrews has been my favorite.
Yeah.
But
I take Andrews where this guy took Lamar. I take
Yeah.
Andrews.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I don't get Lamar,
that's fine. Yeah.
that's fine. But I get Lamar a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because no one wants on. You just said, go ahead, take on Sack Lamar. People don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's easier to do. You can do the Mahomes. He didn't here, but you could do like Mahomes, Rashi, Richardson. You can stack up later very easily. So, and I do when you put me in that position, I take Richardson. I take Christian Kirk and T Higgins or whatever, George Pickens,
Yeah.
whoever's left over. So I get out of other people's way. I'm pissed at them, but I get out of their way, and they get the Lamar Andrews. So when I do it to other people, I think it just has tended to work, but pretty well.
100%.
Yeah, that whole pocket, man, it feels really good. Those tight ends in there.
Yeah. I wrote about that, like I was writing about the early round running backs, and just kind of like I do think that the most likely scenario is that like it's going to feel like the way to win this year was to correctly identify the non-wide receivers in the early rounds that were the correct guys to go after, because it's almost because the way wide receiver pricing has gone up, and it's like maybe a little bit off the peak it was at, but it's still pretty high. And that just like by definition is going to push down values at the other positions. But it's like you got to get those values without getting locked out at wide receiver. So it's kind of tricky. But then that also makes it like if you can correctly identify who those values are and load up on them and then build good teams around them, you're probably going to advance those. Those players are going to have lower advance rates than they should because some people will get locked out with them in their builds. I take Jalen Polk a lot. I don't know if you guys are into him.
Definitely am. He's gotten absolutely steamed here, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll take Polk here. He's like the last guy in this range where if you squint, he's the number one on their team.
Yeah.
Do we have to squint? My eyes are wide open.
Yeah, that's true. Like, who is it? Is it Hunter Henry? No. Is it Demario Douglas, the 5 nothing? No.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to have a true number one. You know what I mean, like the Packers.
Yeah,
I think that's my concern. But yeah,
no,
you probably don't have to squint very hard. You probably don't have to squint very hard. That's true.
I've been kind of mixing, I think, in this range. Like I take some Jacoby, I take some Mike Williams. I mean, Mike Williams on a per game basis and half PPR has been top 24 each of the last 3 years. Like, yeah, he's coming off of the the knee injury, but it occurred in week 3. There's just a lot, like there's a wide range of outcomes there that I'm okay taking here. Taking Jalen Polk as well. And then Josh Downs has kind of been steamed up into this range. I'd kind of mix all 4 of those guys if I need a wide receiver around here.
Hey, I like Downs a lot. It's on hype. It's on like, him looking really good in camp.
Yeah.
I also don't take Pittman very much at all. So I'm playing for Downs.
Same.
Yeah.
I think he might be a full fade for me. I might have taken him once type deal.
Honestly, me too. It's bad. I'm at 1% Pittman. Across like 700.
Now I'm gonna check. Yeah. Are those all on Underdog 750?
Yeah, I'm at 745. I rounded up, but nice 745, 1% Pittman.
Damn, you're gonna.
All right, we'll take we'll boost up your Downs exposure even more here.
I have 1% as well.
Nice.
All right, now I gotta check. Let's see where.
I had to check.
I'll bet it's like 4% on Underdog.
Especially in half PPR. Like, why is there an 8-round disparity between Pittman and Downs?
I truly don't know.
Yeah.
Before he had that knee injury, I was like, I think Downs might be better.
Yeah. Their splits in the first 8 weeks were like equivalent, or Downs had the edge in a lot of them. Like, what are we doing?
I'm at 3%.
Oh, that's 3 times too many, dude. Obviously. Read the room.
Combined, we're still well below the field.
Yeah. It's just, I've gone back and forth with a few subscribers about this in Discord. It's like, if A-Rich is awesome, he throws for 28, 29 touchdowns. Like, Pittman's definitely going to have a higher touchdown ceiling, but it already feels like you're drafting him very close to his ceiling as it is.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, we can always be wrong. Like, he catches 12 touchdowns. I was wrong. It's just like, and he might. Like, that's possible. But I just, you got to you're paying for stuff, right? It's like he's priced way too high. He's just priced way too high for me to take him at any kind of regularity.
Yeah, and it sucks because I think A-Rich, if he stays healthy, like, he could break fantasy. He's appropriately priced for that, absolutely. But it feels weird being out on his clear top receiver. But I mean, with Downs being in the 140s all summer, it's kind of been too easy.
Yeah. I mean, it was like Downs and A.D. Mitchell were like so far down for a long time. I put this out in like OWS Best Ball Plus. I was like, if you are drafting Pittman, you must draft A-Rich as well. Like, there's no option.
I kind of agree. Yeah.
If Pittman is hitting ceiling, A-Rich is breaking fantasy, right? Yeah. So like, you have to draft those two together. Like, you can draft A-Rich without Pittman, but you can't do it the other way around. Like, if you're drafting Pittman, you must draft A-Rich.
Yeah, I have a lot of A-Rich, but I'm drafting them almost all without Pittman.
Yeah.
I'm pretty flat at quarterback, but he's my second highest drafted quarterback.
Yeah, Pat, how high do you get at quarterback? Like, what's your highest exposure that you're comfortable with?
It just works out that I'm kind of generally like around like 10% would be like on the higher side. Like, most guys, I'm right around 8%, like 8, 9, 10. That's like, those are the guys I'm in on, basically. Except that I have 24% Drake Maye.
Oh, yes.
So in certain cases, I'm willing to take a stand. But generally, I'm like, I want my stacks. I'm kind of letting the room fall. That I don't want to reach. And then right around the 15th round, I'm like, Drake Maye, let's go.
Well, we might dial up another share here.
Yeah, it's looking that way, right?
In terms of,
well, this is why I had to get us on Jalen Polk.
I
it's
see.
all part of the plan,
It's just
set up, man. The classic.
This is instinctive right here. Instinctive drafting here.
Yeah.
Maye, man, has a ton of upside.
And he's free.
Yeah, the scrambling will come down a little bit. I don't think he's,
scrambling nonstop in Patriots practice apparently.
Yeah, because their offensive line sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bullets start flying. I think he's going to scramble less, but like there's real upside with design carries, especially design carries near the goal line. Like that always has to pique my interest.
Yeah.
They actually,
and he throws deep too. Like, he's aggressive. He's willing to air it out. It's just it's honestly wild to me that he's priced where he is.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He's absolutely not going to start week 1, but
No, he's not.
On by week 3, week 4. Dude, the Patriots' early season schedule is brutal too. Like they're not going to sweat through Brissett.
Exactly. They have the lowest win total in the league. They're not. Oh, sorry, we're on the clock.
Yeah. Pat, what do you think real quick?
I would do Jaleel McLaughlin as a running back 4. That seems fine. I don't know any other thoughts.
Ray Davis?
Sure. Yeah,
I like Ray Davis quite a bit.
Let's do that.
I think for me, it's like Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, and then Jaleel in this range right now. If I have like bullets ahead, if I have to rank them.
Yeah, I think I have it ranked that way too. I think I might have Gibson ahead of Wright. I think I have it that way. I got to update ranks. Herbert is going to fall through the absolute floor here. 134 ADP. He's probably going to get into the 160s ish. I bet here.
That feels aggressive. I mean, I know he had the plantar fascia, but
yeah,
he's not supposed to miss any games.
At this point, no. But that's what we're looking at. He's going to fall like a rock here. Do you want to wrap out running back? Do you want to take Henry and take a third tight end? We're looking good here.
Did Gibson go?
He is still on the board. We can take him like that. Yeah, I got him a tier ahead of Jaleel like that.
Nice.
So my one pushback, since we're off the clock now, my one pushback on Drake Maye is 2 years ago I did a study on finding like the highest correlative function of fantasy production at the 4 major positions. And what I came across was there's 2 things at quarterback. It's fantasy points per dropback. He's a rookie. We don't have that. And then it's total touchdowns. So those are the 2 things that predict fantasy production at quarterback the most. So for me, they're expected to be dead last in the league in scoring. That's why I was like, I know I gotta stay around 8 to 10% just because, but I'm not going to push him higher than that. And it's just kind of like okay, I feel like I have to pick instead of like, I'm going to push this guy up type pick. And I think the way that I was hedging against that in my own portfolio is I was taking him as the QB2 on rosters. It's like, hey, if I'm wrong about this, or if the Patriots outperform their touchdown expectation, or if he starts earlier in the year, I want that to mean more for a team as a quarterback 2 instead of quarterback 3. And then this will just be a 3 tight end build. Any thoughts on that, Pat? Because I know you are high on him.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I would say with that type of stuff is like you're looking at a market that's looking to predict, like on average, how many games is this team going to win, but, and then how many points are they likely to score, et cetera. But when you're betting on a quarterback like Drake Maye, who I really think is a very strong prospect, but I would also admit is kind of a little bit like of a boom bust type of profile in some ways. Like, is he ready? He runs a lot, maybe too much. He throws deep. He makes mistakes. Like, is he going to be, could he be the next, could he be an aggressive Justin Herbert, or is he basically like a worse Blake Bortles? What are we getting? And that if I'm betting on that very cheaply for the upside of it, then I'm essentially saying if Maye's as good as I think he can be, then whatever the projection of this team's touchdown total, wins, whatever, is just wrong. It's essentially really wrong. And so you just get that. And that's why rookies I think are so valuable in Best Ball Mania, because it's a chance to be wrong in a really big way.
Yeah,
towards the upside.
I like that explanation. I haven't heard that.
That's a very good way to put that.
Yeah, I haven't heard it put like that before, so appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Holy shit, Justin Herbert's fallen through the absolute.
Yeah, double week 5 buys.
You're right, man. I was.
Yeah, we're not doing that. But damn, we got 14 here, Pat.
Well, we have the Cardinals thing ish, right, with Connor, Michael Wilson. I don't know if you guys like him at all.
I'm fine with that.
It's just okay.
Yeah. Yeah, receiver pretty much falls off right after him here. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Man, Herbert.
Wild. I mean, quarterbacks have been devalued in this room, and we've got 5 guys going way past ADP, or 4 guys. But Gino picked up an injury today.
Really missed that.
Yeah, they're being vague about it. He's, they're getting checked. He's getting checked out, imaging or whatever. Coaches said.
What part of the body?
They said knee.
Oh no!
I saw a beat reporter say knee. So not
Come
great.
on.
Yeah, not great. Sam Howell starting week 1 would be less than ideal.
Back on Sam Howell.
Yeah, finds a way to get on the field. Sick.
Yeah, we're gonna say a prayer over Gino's knee. Light a candle, say a prayer. All right, Pat.
I don't know. I mean, I guess Estime is kind of interesting. I'd do that. I don't know if you guys like him.
We can definitely do a 6 running back on this team.
Yeah, we went kind of 0 running back.
I'm gonna miss taking Estime in round 18, but he's getting steamed appropriately here.
He is. Yeah. Good camp.
Really good. I think he's an underrated player. Obviously, the 40 time was really bad for him. He popped in yards created, though. Kind of like an old school throwback type of runner in a way. He's going to be a really good fit for this offense. And talking offensive line tonight, Broncos have a really underrated offensive line, especially in the interior. It's the job is Javante's to lose. Javante's
too. Yeah,
Javante's this is the job for him to lose. I have literally not moved him from 115, 116 in my rankings all summer. He's finally kind of pushed back into that range now. I've been drafting a little more Javante for sure, but the job is his to lose. But I think it's very clearly like Estime's a very good handcuff at worst right now.
Yeah, and the 40 time to me, it was like, is the NFL going to be just out on this guy?
Same.
I mean, I forget years ago. There's all these guys that we like, and then they run. I mean, last year was Dwayne McBride, where I was like, "Oh, this guy's fun," and then he didn't run, but it was like, I don't know that he would have been faster than Estime. So, it's just like once you don't kind of meet a certain threshold, a lot of teams are out, and I was worried that would be the case with Estime. But the Broncos have been excited and really talking up like essentially his success rate or his ability to avoid negative yards is like a key reason that they wanted him.
Yep.
And Peyton being like, I think like had him circled on the board as like a guy he really wanted to come away from the draft with and stuff. So like, okay, the Broncos are in. And I don't really care about the 40. Like he's, kind of like burst through the line, doesn't have, will get tackled from behind, but consistent. Like that's a profile we can work with, especially if he gets short yardage stuff.
Yeah, that's what my read is. I think he'll be the primary short yardage guy. He'll likely take an ineffective play by Javante or an injury to see more than that. But that's well within the range of outcomes, right?
Totally. Yeah, I always say home run speed is not a necessity at running back, but what you do when you get through the hole is massive. And Estime was pretty quick feet. Obviously has very good power. He's a really interesting player. I liked him more than I thought I would, for sure.
I really liked him in the numbers before the combine.
Scott did too.
This dude might be really good.
Oh, no, we got goosed.
Come on.
He's got DeMario, so at least it's not.
We should have just taken him in the 16th. We pushed it too far. That big glut of quarterbacks just had me like, kind of psyched me out. Kind of psyched me out. I lost track of what we were doing. We didn't really like create any other stacks.
No, we did not. Kind of boxed out now.
We could try to do a Juwan Carr thing. This is one of the break classes in case of emergency plays. You got to do Juwan first though, because if you end up with naked Carr, they refund you.
That's very fair. I really, really wish that were the case.
I'm already drawing up the email to Underdog.
Yeah, you can. They'll give you a refund. You got to ask, but they'll give you the refund. If any of your drafts get voided, it's because someone took naked Carr.
It sucks you don't find that out till round 17.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Sorry, guys.
They should have put that in the disclaimer, like in the contest section,
Yeah. It's very, very fine print.
Yeah, we'll do that. We probably should have taken Maye.
I know. That's on me. That's on me.
It's all good.
I should have been pushing it.
It's all good. Now, I was with you on pushing. I mean, round 18, Aaron Rodgers without Garrett Wilson. What's this guy? Oh, he went Love Daniels. Okay. And Fields. Interesting. All right, we'll take Carr. Yeah, interesting.
At least we have Hurts, we'll be all right.
Yeah, Hurts 20 fantasy points every week, and then a 38 bomb in the finals will work for this team. That's for sure. Nice little team. 2673. We'll throw back 2673. Pat, great team, man. You can find all Pat stuff at Legendary Upside. Make sure you're following him on Twitter at Pat Kerrane, the legend. Make sure if you are thinking about playing on Underdog, make sure you're checking out Fantasy Points. Use the code FantasyPTS. Get yourself a $5 standard subscription to fantasypoints.com and your promo code FantasyPTS. Get a deposit match up to $250. So you basically get like $300 for free. You should absolutely do it. Pat, thank you so much for your time, man. Let's go watch some football. We got football on our screen.
That's right.
In about 10 minutes.
Football tonight. We love to see it.
Let's go. Some backups playing football, but you do still love to see it. Mark,
we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, we'll take what we can get, man. Mark, thank you as always. For Thomas behind the scenes, I'm Graham. See you guys at the top of the leaderboard.
What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.